back to another video from HSTV, and in today's video, as you can see by the video title, I'm going to be comparing Samsung Notes and Notion. Now, if you are new to the channel and you don't know who I am, my name is Hayne and I'm a 4th year medical student here at the University of Edinburgh. And since year 1, I was a big Samsung Notes lover. Now, for some reason, Samsung recently, just a few weeks ago, decided to remove Samsung Notes from other devices, i.e. Windows PC. So it's now only limited to Samsung devices, which is fine because I use a Samsung tablet and a Samsung phone. However, I think along with me, a lot of other people, we are not happy with this, and we need an ecosystem where notes can be synced across different devices, across different platforms. Now, luckily, I was anyway looking for an app that offered better typed notes. So that's why I went for Notion. So I've been using Notion over the past 5 or 6 weeks, and Samsung Notes I have experience with. So I thought it would be really good to put these apps head to head and see who comes out on top. I think they are quite different, and in their own ways they will probably win, but I thought it'd be quite interesting to do this comparison. So I hope this is useful for you and it helps you decide a bit about what app you should go for, and let's get into it. So hopping into Samsung Notes, first of all, as you can see, we have a really nice simple interface, as you've probably seen in a lot of my other reviews as well, I hope. And yeah, everything is organized in folders, which are really easy to create by tapping on the 3 dots at the top right hand corner. You can create a folder, you can customize the name of that folder, and you can choose a color as well. For example, I've got folders like this, and then you can have folders within folders and so on. It's really easy to import things into Samsung Notes as well, which we'll be talking about later. Now, something to note about Samsung Notes is that previously it was available on Windows devices and Samsung devices. However, now it is only available on Samsung devices. So that will include your Samsung tablets, phones, and their new computer laptop books. So yeah, although Samsung Notes is, syncable across your different devices, it is a Samsung only app now. Now, instead jumping over to Notion, we have a really nice interface as well. I guess this is quite different to the layout of Samsung Notes in that you kind of customize your own pages rather than folders. So you have pages inside pages, and you can have like a different page for different topics. And yeah, we will obviously be going into different customizability features as well. This, just like Samsung Notes, is also a free app. But this time we are available on any device. So it's a full cross-platform. You've got Samsung, Apple and Windows all covered with Notion, and the syncability is again really great, just like Samsung Notes. But yeah, definitely more support available with Notion. Now, in my opinion, both of these apps, they aren't really comparable, because trying to address the main elephant in the room, you can see that Samsung Notes is really great for handwritten notes. The tools available, they help you create really fantastic notes, and it's great. I used it for a lot of my preclinical medicine work. And Notion, on the other hand, you'll see in a while, is your main driver for typed notes, which I think has been working better for my clinical year side of things. But just trying to show you the potentials of Samsung Notes in this video as well, you can have a look that you can create very aesthetic, useful and great notes, and that is because of the wonderful tools available to us. It's really easy to create a new note, for example, by tapping, not clapping, on the bottom right hand corner. And when you open a new note, you do have the option to take some typed notes, but honestly, the typed features available, it doesn't give a lot of potential, as in you can't really change the font. You have some different like font sizes, but the actual font type, you can't change it. You have good things, I would say, like a bullet point list and a to-do list. So you can do things like this, and this is great for quick notes. But honestly, if you want to do good type notes, Notion is going to be the app for you. But let's focus on the strengths of Samsung Notes. If you are using Samsung Notes on the Samsung tablet, just like I was for many years, you have many tools that you can use for great handwritten notes. You have a variety of pens, as you can see here. You can choose a variety of colors. That is never an issue. It's basically an unlimited pencil case, and really it's great. I could never fault the tools available on Samsung Notes, and it works so great because obviously with this being a Samsung device, the compatibility is great, and you have really good features. For example, when you have a favorites pen bar, you can just simply click on the button on the S Pen and it will switch between your favorites, just like so. And it's very quick, it's very efficient. If you want to rub out things, you can hold the S Pen button and you can simply switch to the eraser function. Again, highlighting is brilliant too. A few options in there for straight and rounded highlighting as well. We have a great lasso tool so that you can select objects, you can make them bigger and smaller, you can also change the style of them, etc. Like, it's really good. Then yeah, just like a few more of these tools, we have a great shape tool that you can create shapes with, and then you can actually modify these shapes as well, and it's pretty accurate and exact, I would say. There is a really nice feature on Samsung Notes where you can convert handwritten text into typed text. Personally, I never really used this a lot, but the option is always there if you do wish to use it, and it works pretty well. Let's just try and do something like not very neatly. If I just did like, I don't know, I don't think that's very neat, but it has captured it pretty well. Yeah, didn't quite catch the study, but it works quite well. There you go, see? So I think that the overall tools available on Samsung Notes are really good. Let's hop into Notion so I can show you where its strengths really lie. So yeah, Notion is obviously quite different, as we've discussed, and within my medicine page, what I've got really is different pages inside here for all the different specialties that I'm studying. So for example, if we go into cardiovascular medicine, you can see I've been able to customize with covers and icons, and then I've created pages inside pages, and you will see very quickly that the strength of Notion is lying with the typed notes. And sometimes you want to do handwritten notes and sometimes you want to do typed notes, and I think, as I said before, these apps, they don't really compare to each other because they have very different strengths, and I like to use a combination when I'm studying. But you know, Notion, I really love that you can have this toggle feature, and this is great for trying to test yourself, and it's great when you can actually add like subsections, and then you can add lots of pictures like so, and like headings, and it's great. I think like the way you can organize notes on Notion is maybe better than on Samsung Notes. I think it's a more complex note-taking system that maybe it takes a longer time to get your head around, but once you do get there and you kind of surpass that learning curve, it's got a lot of potential. So definitely Notion is something worth trying, and I wish I did try it out sooner. I guess I was just so stuck with Samsung Notes and with all the handwriting and doing all the annotation on the lecture slides that I never really came to Notion. But honestly, Notion, it does a great job, and the great thing is that you can actually import things like videos into here. So I really like that you can have like, it's almost like your own website or your own library of notes, and it is a more complex note-taking system. So let's chat a bit about what you can do in Notion in terms of how I wanted to add something to this note right now. Well, the way it works is you basically have this like plus icon right here. When you click on that plus icon, you have lots of different tools, I guess, that you can play about with. So you can embed a sub page inside this page, you can create a to-do list, and I I guess I have actually a to-do list on my front page right here, and it works in a similar way to the one on Samsung Notes, as you can see here. But yeah, if I wanted to add like another thing in here, I can add headings. That's where all the toggle features come in, bullet points. I can do quotes, so even things out like call outs. Like I quite like this call out feature that I've kind of put in there. It's like a quote at the top of my page, but you can also use it to like highlight things within your notes. There's a ton of things that you can embed into Notion, and one of the things that Samsung Notes really doesn't have is this AI feature. Now, I won't lie, I've not really used this a lot, but we will be trying it out later in this video, so stay tuned for that. In terms of other things that we can import, we've got images, we've got web bookmarks. The web bookmarks especially I find really useful for like linking to web pages. I'm just trying to think of an example where I can show you this, but yeah, like especially when I'm thinking of like risk scores for different conditions, then I'm able to just quickly go to those scores. So like for example here, when I've got like Q risk, I can link a bookmark the web page, and then I can do like bullet points about it, and then it's there, really handy for me. And that's something that I feel like you can't really do as easily on Samsung Notes, so a big difference there as well. In terms of other things that we can add, really Notion has a lot of links with a lot of other platforms as well, so it's not just your basic files and PDFs and things that you can put in. You have things like embedding tweets and embedding Google Maps, and you know, you can code things within Notion, and I'm certainly not at that point where I'm fully coding, but you know, as you work your way through Notion, it becomes very easy to do that, and it's almost like coding for a website. And even with things like Slack and OneDrive and Dropbox and Zoom, like you can embed from a lot of different platforms into Notion, and that kind of cross compatibility is really what differs Notion from a lot of other apps out there, especially those that are available on Android. Let me show you guys what sort of stuff you can import into Samsung Notes as well. So you click the little attach button at the right hand side, you can do images, you can take direct photo, you can put in PDFs, and arguably I think Samsung Notes is a much better PDF reader than Notion, just because you can highlight things, and we'll go over that in a second. You can also have a voice recording put in. This is great if you want to like record your lecture during a lecture and then have that recording in, or a conversation or an interview, whatever, you can just have that in the note. You can put in other external audio files, you can put in drawings and text boxes, so there is good potential in Samsung Notes as well to import things, and all the features, they work very well. Let's talk about the PDF feature then. So in particular, like textbooks, right? So in Notion, if you're using the free version, you can't really import in large PDFs like, you know, this textbook. So yeah, I think Samsung Notes offers a better opportunity here. Now, when we actually go into this note, we can actually see all the different pages. We can bookmark pages. Granted, it takes a while for things to load up, and there probably is better PDF readers out there, for example, like Flexel, but Samsung Notes, it really offers a good amount of competition, I think, especially with Notion. And you know, when you have features like being able to highlight things, and you know, pointing things out and drawing, and you know, like it just I think makes everything a better kind of overall system, I think, for note taking, especially if you are going more the handwritten route. So yeah, when you can have like PDFs imported in, you can have lecture slides noted in. I did this a lot in first and second year. You can have a look at like my first year folder here, and you will see that I imported in a lot of slides. So I'm just trying to think here, like for example, like here you can see that these are all just lecture slides, and it's really nice because you can just import the slides, and then you can, you know, write over them and annotate them during your lectures. So that's a really nice features with it. Whereas, you know, with Notion, I guess you are just, You can have PDFs inside your Notion, but there's been times where I've had to compress notes because the file size is too big, and other times where I wish I could annotate notes like slides, and I've not been able to on Notion because there is no handwritten feature. So a bit of a drawback there to Notion, but a really nice strength with Samsung Notes. I think the key thing to understand here with Notion and Samsung Notes is that using a combination of apps, whether it be these two or ones that work better for you, is really important. And a prime example is when I was trying to learn ECG interpretation and I couldn't quite get my head around the different leads. I didn't straight away just jump to making this note here on Notion. Although this is the main source that I now refer to if I do need to look something up for ECGs, initially when I was watching videos on it and doing lectures, I did a handwritten version first to help me understand things. And I guess that's just how I process things in my mind. Maybe I just like doing the handwritten aspect. So for example, like I was doing this well before I started creating that page on Notion. This is what really helped me understand things, and it's something I wish I could have all in one app, but I guess that would be a little bit too good to be true, especially on Android. So using a combination is not a bad thing at all, and I think this in particular really helped me before I was able to make that really nice simplified version on Notion. So keep that in mind if you are trying to choose an app. Okay, so let's actually try out the AI inside Notion feature and see how good it really is. I mean, there's lots of options that you can choose from. For me, obviously, because my prime usage on Notion is university stuff, I don't ever really need to use AI too much. But yeah, like for example, if I asked it to write me YouTube video ideas. Oh, I've not even spelled that properly. Whoops. I think one of the things I don't like about Notion is it is a bit fiddly, and I'm still trying to get used to everything, especially on tablet. I think on computer it's probably a bit easier to navigate, but on tablet I still find it a bit fiddly. But anyways, we'll try that again. So yeah, let's just ask it to write me YouTube video ideas for my channel on note-taking and university life. Let's see what that does for us. So yeah, I guess it's quite similar to the sort of thing that ChatGPT would give us, so it's not really unique. It's quite cliche ideas, but I guess if you wanted something for brainstorming or to get you started, the feature is available there, and I'm sure it does have a lot of potential, but I just can't think of where it would fit into my note-taking at the moment. I think something else that I don't really like on Notion is the actual customizability of the text you write. So although I'm saying that Notion is great for typed notes, really I can't even change the font of this text, and that kind of annoys me, honestly. So I can change the background of things, and I can change the color of the text, and I can make it bold and I can underline it, all the basic stuff, but there's not actually a variety of fonts on here unless I download some perhaps externally. There's not many actually built in, and sometimes I just want text to be bigger, and I just I wish there was a bit more customizability there with the actual text we write. And a lot of the times with Notion, I feel like there's a lot of empty space on my pages, especially within this within my different pages. Like for example here on upper GI disease, right? I have a ton of conditions, and I do struggle sometimes to organize these. I think it doesn't look great the way it is just now, but honestly I just needed somewhere where I could quickly jot down notes. So at the moment, it just looks like a bit of a list of things, and it's just everything is in toggles. I like features, like this call out, but honestly, I think there are better ways of organizing these notes, and it's something that I hope I can look into, but it's not directly coming out at me, and I think there is a steeper learning curve in using Notion than there is Samsung Notes. Okay, let's talk a bit about exporting notes and sharing files with others. So, for example, in Samsung Notes, you can really share quite easily, and you can export notes really nicely too. So for example, these two notes, I can save them as files, as PDF files, as Word files, as images, whatever, and I can also directly share these files in those file types as well. And that means that anybody who's not got Samsung Notes and might be on like an Apple device, for example, they will still have access to those notes. Something else that Samsung is trialing at the moment, and something I've not really used, is this shared notes feature. So this is currently a beta where you can invite collaborators and you can work on documents at the same time. So this would be similar to like a Google Docs type thing, and yeah, I think it's really nice that Samsung Notes has got that there. I think this is great for group projects, brainstorming ideas, mind maps, whatever. So if we now switch over to Notion, it's a lot different. And in Notion, actually, the whole exporting thing is more complicated because really, Notion is like a website. So you can click the share button at the top right hand corner and you can share your entire page. So that will go with all the pages that you've got inside that page, if that makes sense. And you can add emails of people and they can then come and access your page. You can get the share link, and yeah, it's like fine, but I guess I don't know, I just like the way Samsung Notes does it. I think you can also like publish your things to the web as an actual web page. So some companies actually use Notion as a cheap way of making their website for their company, and then they can you can do, like as I said, like Notion has a lot of potential, so you can do big things like that. But yeah, I think the sharing thing with Notion it's quite different to Samsung Notes, and it's, again, I don't really think it's comparable. I think something you should also be aware of is the whole like the plans and the billing thing with Notion. So with Samsung Notes, it's totally free. You are on the Samsung cloud, so you can buy extra storage for that, but honestly I've never had to this day, and it doesn't really take up a lot of storage, especially even with the amount of like lecture slides I've uploaded. But with Notion, I have felt there are some limitations, and yeah, it's great. They do say it's unlimited use, but yeah, there's like definitely a few things in here that you might need to buy Notion for example, some stuff about AI and some other things as well about exporting and importing notes. So yeah, just be a little bit aware of that. And yeah, you can like see here some of the pricing plans. So yeah, I think Notion, it has a greater amount of expandability, and therefore you have this different pricing thing. Samsung Notes, it's kind of, you get everything in one go and it's all free. So just to run through some other basic customizability options on Samsung Notes, and I think this is really nice because I don't really see a similar thing on Notion, is things like background colors and also like page templates as well. So within the page templates, you have some basic ones that you can use like these, but then actually on top of that, you can download others and add them into your Samsung Notes too. So there is a little bit of you can download things and then export them in, but nowhere near as much as what you can do with Notion. So I like Samsung Notes because you have everything kind of built into the app and you just use it all. And with Notion, the community of people who use it is just larger. So there's a lot more potential for you to download things into Notion. Now, a key example of this is templates on Notion, not necessarily like the background, like lines or squared paper, but things like a student dashboard. So for example, templates like this and many more you can bring into Notion, and then you can customize them to your liking. And I'm not sure how much I like this because I think the thing with Notion is it's very personal to you, and for me at least, I like to do everything my way. So these templates, they can definitely give you some inspiration and some idea into maybe what you would want to make your Notion dashboard look like. But for me, using actual templates, I'm not so keen on. And you can see that when I made my actual Notion page, I really customize it to how I wanted it to be. And some people might not agree with how I set up things, and it might look very basic, but honestly I'm really happy with how it looks just now. And especially this revision board that I've got here, this is going to really help me, I hope, to do some kind of active recall and help me to revisit topics. So yeah, I'm going to be like doing things in progress and not started, or if I'm confident on them, like I can note things down. So in that sense, I like Notion and the way you can do that. I think it's more of like a life organizer as well, rather than it just being for note taking. So although I'm just using it at the moment for university related things, I think Notion has a lot of potential for organizing all aspects of your life actually. And a lot of people use this for like reading journals and travel vlogs and blogs and things like that. So yeah, the variety there of potential is really big. I mean, on Samsung Notes, I will say that most of the stuff I do on Samsung Notes nowadays is kind of other bits and bobs of life. So like to-do lists, my timetable, taking any quick notes, you know, having all these like different things going on, also all like my YouTube things, that kind of stuff I still keep on Samsung Notes because I just find it easier and quicker to access. Notion, for the moment, I'm keeping to medicine. I have also made a page on Islamic studies as well, which I hope that I will be you know, making and expanding bigger soon. But yeah, I think it's really cool. You can add things like an Islamic calendar and prayer times and things like that. So yeah, I think both apps, they have their pros and cons, and for me at the moment, it's all about using a combination. Alright everybody, well that is going to be the end of this video. I hope you have found this useful, and yeah, I think I'm going to be sticking to Notion for most of my medical school note-taking. However, as you saw, Samsung Notes still does play a role in my note-taking. I've not completely wiped it out, but yeah, definitely decreased my usage significantly. Now, I think, you know, if you were to ask me what the best note-taking app ever is, really, I think it's a combination of apps that work for you and your ecosystem and your devices. And you have to kind of use a combination to maximize your productivity and your efficiency. So for me, I'm using a mixture of Notion and Samsung Notes, but as you've seen on the channel, we've trialed lots of different note-taking apps, so feel free to go check out those videos as well. And let me know who your winner is down below. And I will see you all in my next video. Goodbye.